those emotes. Hey, welcome to What's Upper Pinellas.
Hello, hello.
Here with my good friend and co-host, Marianne Davis. How are you today, Marianne?
I am excellent. I'm excellent. I can tell you that this weather this week has been so fabulous. It is the reason we moved to Florida. No?
Yeah, both days of winter have passed, and we're now back in the summer.
Oh, it's been fabulous for sure. I've been really enjoying it. So,
yeah.
How about you?
Doing well.
Have you been getting out crabbing or whatever?
Yeah, we went out. Chris and I went out Sunday, and we ended up with 10 claws, which is not a whole lot. So he took those home, and he didn't have traps in last year, so he kind of just helped me a little bit towards the end of the season, and it had been a minute since he took any home, and so I'm interested to see how that turned out for him. He asked for preparation suggestions, and then I think he went a little bit different route. He went with vinegar and water, which is how Lori's family does steamed crabs.
Okay.
And the local thing is they come a fresh bucket of salt water with your crab claws and just cook them right in that. So that's what I usually do.
Okay.
And, yeah. So, but yeah, different strokes for different folks. So I'm interested to catch up with them and see how they enjoyed them. It's been a while since they've had them. Yeah.
One more thing to love about the Florida lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
In particular, Upper Pinellas.
Pinellas.
That's what we're about, right?
Yeah. So I went to a broker open today, and one of the listing agents, we're talking fishing and hunting and that kind of stuff. And I told him my stone crab. He goes, "You stone crab?" He goes, my wife loves those things because I spent a fortune on those. I want to learn how to do that.
Oh, see, you're gonna have a whole little cottage industry of realtors out stone crabbing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my own little crew. That's what they say. Find your crew, right?
Your people, your tribe.
People, my tribe. You should know that as a savage. I have my own tribe.
I referred someone, one of my clients, to you, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I gotta call that savage guy." Gotta love it. This is the Savage Podcast.
Oh, that's so funny. So what's going on with you today in the real estate world?
Well, you know what? I actually, this is kind of off script, but I was listening to this really great podcast, and I was thinking you might like it too. You ever listen to the guy who does the dirty jobs?
Oh yeah.
Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe's his name. Yeah, he's just a smart guy. He is very intelligent, very articulate.
And he's an amazing storyteller.
He
draws you in, and you think you're there with him. And he's sitting. He's not sitting in front of a bookcase, but he's sitting in his cabin, or he's sitting in a room, just telling stories. He's amazing.
Yeah, he is. And I'm gonna send you the podcast. It might be a little bit too politically charged for us to be chatting about here, but it's just a pretty good one. In any case, I came across it. One of the things that I saw an article about myths of real estate, and I thought it would be a good thing if maybe on our podcast we share a common myth. But for today, I had this list of about 10 myths in real estate, and the first one, which really would pertain to your expertise as well, is a lot of people think you need 20% down to buy a home.
That is a huge misconception, and it keeps people on the sidelines. And I think you may have heard this story before, but I went to a closing with somebody that put 50% down. And I asked her like 10 times through the transaction, "Why are you putting 50% down? Is it the payment? Is it the size of the loan?" So we finally get to closing, and she goes, "I can't wait to buy my first investment property." And I said, "How did that never come up?" And she's like, "Well, I had to put 50% down." And I said, "Well, why did you put 50% down?" And she said, "My grandmother told me to." And I just went, "Oh."
That's how when your grandma myths.
How many houses did your grandmother have? She goes, "One." And I said, "Yeah, back when your grandmother bought the house, that's the only type of loan there was. That's why she told you that."
Right.
I said, if you put 20% down, you got to put 20% on investment property and then 10% into the next investment property. But she would never answer the question. She'd dodge it, and she'd, But to answer your question, there are loans out there with zero down, USDA, VA loan, FHA, whether you're first time home buyer or second or 10th. If you don't have an FHA loan, you can do 3.5% down. And first time home buyer, meaning that you haven't owned a house in 3 years. And if you're with a spouse that has owned one, at least one of the two of you have not owned a house in the last 3 years, you can put down as little as 3% down on a conventional. If you both have owned a house in the last 3 years, it's 5% down. And so potentially there's some down payment assistance programs and or there's a way to do use a first and a second on FHA where you actually have zero down. So
I know that what goes along with that myth is that mortgage insurance, anything less than 20%, you have to pay mortgage insurance, but it's not so straightforward. And it's not as expensive as you would think, right? I mean, I was surprised because,
Yeah. And it's just, all that does is protect the lender from, if you were to go into foreclosure or short sale, and they were to get the house back, that they would be insured not to lose money on the reconditioning and sale of that property.
Now, there's something that if you put less than 20% down and you're paying mortgage insurance on a conventional loan, but you're able to put additional down or pay it, so you don't have, you're borrowing 80% less of the value, you can have it what's called recast, right? And you don't have to pay mortgage insurance anymore. Am I talking out of my lane?
No, you're asking good questions. Mortgage, real estate, title, all have similar words and mean different things. So recasting in the mortgage world means I come into some money and I want to put down on my mortgage to lower my balance. And when I put that amount of money down, let's say it's $20,000, I can, for an administrative fee of $250 to $300, have the servicer recast the remaining payment. So not only did I lower my balance, but I also lowered the payment for the remaining loans. So that's how mortgage lenders use the word recast. And in as far as mortgage insurance and getting that removed, mortgage insurance is written on a 1-year renewable or a 2-year renewable policy. And depending on how long you've been in the property, the 2-year policy is cheaper than the 1 year because they got you locked in for 2 years. So what people, when they close, they go, I want the lowest payment. So you end up in a 2-year mortgage insurance policy. And at 2 years, you can have an appraisal done to evaluate the value to make sure that you have 20% or more in the property. And at that point, you can have mortgage insurance removed. If you selected to have a little bit higher payment at closing and got on a 1-year program, you can have it done in 1 year and do it that way as well. And it can be through paying it down, it can be through appreciation, or it can be through balance reduction, like we were talking about with recasting. So there's three different ways of being attacked.
This is good to know. This is good stuff. I think that this is where the myths come from too. A lot of these myths come from. So another myth: you should wait for the perfect time to buy or sell a home.
The perfect time to buy and sell a home was yesterday. The next best time is today, and the next best time after that is tomorrow.
Right.
Because over time, houses appreciate, and appreciation is how you get wealth. So you work a job to get rich, and when you stop working, your income disappears, and that's where people chew into their richness. Whereas if you have houses, equity will always, be there, and potentially rental income will continue to keep you rich and build your wealth at the same time.
Right. Yeah, that's if the numbers work, if you can make it work, then that's the right time. That's if the property's the one you like. Let's see.
And on that, just to kind of bounce off of that, is what you want and what you can afford may not be the same number, but that doesn't mean that has to be your last house. Buy the house you can afford now and, buy the next house.
Well, we joke all the time, because I would say the majority of people that we work with say, oh, this is it. This is my forever home. And then a couple of years later, we're out looking again.
Years? We have some customers that go months.
Yes, that's very true. That is very true.
Once.
You never know what's going to happen. You never know. And so, if you're happy in the moment, then that's a good thing. That's what you gotta
And
work
life
for.
changes, people get married, people have kids, people change jobs, people get transferred. There's all kinds of reasons that people change. And sometimes what they thought was the right decision or the right part of town or closer to work puts them on a busier road that takes them longer to get to work. So there's all kinds of things that come into that. It's not just, I picked the wrong house, because that's usually not it. It's usually something life changing.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. I forgot I'm in charge.
I'm in charge.
I'm in charge of the Facebook for anybody talking to us. And nobody's commented yet.
Let me see if we have sound.
That's a good thing. To us and yeah, now we're gonna have feedback and all that
there
stuff
we go.
too. So
Sorry.
that's great.
That
No,
me.
awesome.
I did that.
I honestly, I'm just so proud of us that we're here. that's part of it. Okay, so how about you? Do you have any myths? We have more myths, and we'll be hitting on a lot of myths throughout our series.
Here's one that pops into mind is if I don't use a realtor, I can buy a house cheaper.
Yes, that is a big myth.
So
do you want to talk about what you believe about that myth and why you believe that?
Was that?
Then I'll weigh in.
Your question. Now to answer my own.
Mm-hmm.
They say that because there's a sum of money that gets paid to realtors in the transaction. They think if they cut that out, they're going to get a lower or better deal. And you might save a few pennies, but you open yourself up to all kinds of liability. And what I found is, especially like if for sale by owners, where for sale by owner goes in without a realtor, a buyer comes in without a realtor or no experience, and they end up paying way more than they should have.
Well, I believe, and I don't have the statistics off the top of my head because that's not where my numbers stay, but that for sale by owners generally sell for more. Sell for much less than those homes with realtors. And to piggyback on that myth, there's another myth that realtors will steer you towards a more expensive house because they get a percentage of the commission. And, there's a few bad apples out there in every industry, and there may be a few, but I would say that for all the realtors that I've met and our team especially, I know that it's really about having a long-term relationship with you, such as somebody that's going to buy and sell multiple homes, which we can highlight that another time. But and it's about really doing what's right, getting you the best deal. And I like to get a good deal for my clients. I take pride in that, and I want my sellers to get a good price for their homes. So it's really, we really work towards having a good deal rather than
a deal.
A deal. Yeah.
It's a long game, and it's one of the reasons that you and your team and Vanessa are so successful is you really do take into consideration the long game and not the deal.
Now, another thing, I'm sorry to step on you, but I'm an agent. I'm a realtor, a professional. I know, very experienced. I would never buy or sell my own home alone. And if I see that an agent is listing their own home, usually it's overpriced.
Yeah.
And it's just on the market for a while.
Because the
emotion. And I know
you
that.
You got nothing to bounce that off of. So you think, this is the right price.
That's right. So, and I know that about myself, that I'm not able to disengage that way for my own particular thing. So I always rely on my teammates for that as well. So,
yeah. That's a good one.
I think I've called you a couple of times, Brian, what should I do?
Too funny.
Yeah.
Too funny. So what else going on?
Well, we have a fantastic open house coming up this weekend. This is one really sweet property, and it's also great for an investment for our investors out there. It is 2691 Woodette, which is right as you're on the Dunedin Causeway going out to Honeymoon Island. It's right by Frenchie's. It's this nice little waterfront community.
You can stop talking. You had me at Frenchie's.
Yeah, I know, right? Remember that time I saw you there before? Anyway.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I ran into
You and
there.
your daughter.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I was playing hooky. I got busted.
Well, you didn't call it sick.
Yeah.
Like you're lying about it.
So
This is
a
freeze time.
That's right.
Your free time.
That's right. It's a this great property is listed at 375. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's furnished. It can come furnished or not. They've even got bicycles and perfect for rentals too. You can rent it immediately. It's really cute. It's got great water views. You can click through there.
This is on the north side of.
This is on, I believe it is on the north side, west of Frenchie's. Yep. Yeah. So it is open this coming Sunday from 1 to 3. Lisa Miller on our team is going to be hosting that. And it's just the cutest place. And it's great, like I said, if a second home. That's what it was for these people. They had it as a second home, and they're going to go to a single home now. They're not visiting as much, but look at that view. It's fantastic. It is, again, back to the Florida lifestyle.
You looked on the water?
Yeah, it is. It is really a doll of a little property. So give us a call if you can't make the open house, but stop by the open house on Sunday from 1 to 3.
And I kind of zipped through this, so
yeah.
Sorry about that.
Also, you can just go to vanessaleonard.com and you can see all of our listings there. It's listed there as well. But really a beautiful property and totally on the Florida lifestyle. So no, it looks like it's
There you go. So there's open water down this way too.
Right.
Down this way, there's open water as well.
Right.
That's just the first picture we came to. There you go.
There you go.
And that's why people move to Florida, right there.
Yeah, it is.
And there's the open water I was talking about.
Yeah, that's
so stone crabs are right out here. So anyway,
now, cool. Brian, you have been last week. You mentioned something that you're going to be doing, and I have seen you out there. It is 90 houses in 90 days. Tell us about it.
90 houses in 90 days. What I'm doing is just trying to help people get exposure to their properties, realtors, get exposure to their property that they wouldn't otherwise get. Realtors kind of tend to hang with realtors. And as a mortgage person, I have a different sphere of influence or a different set of eyeballs that look at my stuff versus maybe a realtor's. And so I am going in 90 houses that are listed for sale and or in some stage of being rehabbed. So I have a friend that is in the process of rehabbing, and I'm going to be including his house. He's about 3-4 weeks into demolition and starting to put things back together. So include houses like that. And then also with people that are having trouble getting people to their open houses and people to visit, helping them with that as well.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm back on my job here to watch Facebook, and Lisa is there. Hey, Lisa. Hey, everybody out in the office. It is Saturday from 1 to 3 is the open house, not Sunday. Sunday's Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday. So
Super Bowl Sunday.
So it's Saturday from 1 to 3.
Very good. That's the Dunedin.
The Dunedin on Woodette. 2691 Woodette.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. She's on it. So yeah, it's it's really interesting because I presented to different groups of people, and it's interesting how people are coming out of kind of the woodwork to have me do their houses and just get an opportunity to meet with realtors to help them in an area that it's not a mortgage. I'm not helping them with a mortgage. I'm not helping their clients with a mortgage, but they're so appreciative and they're so grateful.
Well, and it's, just that anybody that's on your social media, they love it too, because let's face it, we all love to see We all love to see properties.
Mhm.
HGTV would not be as popular as it is if we didn't. So, so that definitely you can tune into Brian's Facebook. Is it on both Facebook and Instagram? On the gram? Are you on the gram?
I am on the gram, but I don't know if they're being pushed to the gram or not, or I have to push them. I'll have to look into that tonight. So it's today is the 5th, and I have done 8 or 9 houses so far. So I'm ahead of schedule.
Does that mean you get a day off?
Well, can't always get into houses when I want to get into them because I don't have the master key as a mortgage broker. So I am reliant upon.
Maybe if you had a friend in the business.
I have a friend in business. She's
I know
offered,
a guy.
She's offered. But yeah, it's So realtors, if you want to have another set of eyeballs on it, feel free to reach out, and love to help you.
Absolutely.
That's realtors in Pinellas, Pasco, Tampa Bay. I can't help you in New York or the UK.
Or the UK. We're talking Upper Pinellas.
Yes. So how about you? What's going
on? That is, you know what I have? I have for our investors another opportunity coming up. I actually have 2 opportunities coming up. We have vacant land. I think I mentioned that last week. It's just under 2 acres in a beautiful gated community. It's going to be available. It's on a pond. But I also have coming up a duplex in downtown Tarpon Springs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a really great little place, which is in an area that allows short-term rentals. Mm-hmm. And you know what else I heard? And I have to get the true scoop on this. I heard that there's a building. It's an older building on Ring and Orange Street.
I know where Ring is.
Okay.
Not sure where Orange is.
So Orange is the Tarpon Taverns, right?
Okay.
Orange is right by the Tarpon Tavern. And they're renovating this old building. And I understand they're going to be making it into apartments that are Airbnbs as well.
Oh, cool. So it's in the zone.
It's in the zone, yeah. So, we have lots of other great homes coming up as well. So let me know if you're.
In what area is the vacant land in? What
vacant land is off of Keystone,
okay,
in Lake Place.
Okay, that's
we had a little glitch there. It is buildable, and it is. We have plans that the soil tests have been done, the bore tests, the surveys. The seller even has plans for a 6,000 square foot home on that property. Wow. You don't have to use that, but definitely, he would gladly include it with the sale if that's something you're interested in.
Speed up the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good, very good. The I've been running a blue tarp special through the month of February, kind of like blue light special from Kmart back in the day.
So tell me, what is the blue tarp special? Much like the blue light special.
blue tarp special is homes as you're driving around the neighborhood and through the community. If you see a house with a blue tarp on it, and you want to get me the name, the address, and the phone number of the person that has that house. That is an opportunity to help people. The reason that a blue tarp is still on their house months after hurricane is they either don't have the funds to fix it because their insurance, their flood, their bank account doesn't have the funds to fix it, or FEMA didn't give them any money, and or they don't like the bids they have. And so that's just one way of identifying people that need help with mortgages, whether that's refinancing, home equity line of credit, or renovation mortgages. Where we include the funds for renovating the house right there in the mortgage. But it's just an easy way to identify people. And there are people that are still waiting on FEMA insurance and flood money that when they get that money, they can use that to potentially pay down, recast, and or pay off the mortgage. But they're putting their house back together and they get back in the house faster by using mortgage solutions. So. Mm-hmm. So what I'm doing is every time you send me a name, address, and phone number, I put a little ticket in a bucket, and at the end of the month, I'm going to pull a name out of the hat and give a $100 gift certificate to Lowe's for the blue tarp special we're running in February.
That's awesome.
Yep,
that's awesome.
It's just a way to help people, because a lot of times people won't ask for help, and we don't know that they need help And so kind of, along the lines of taking care of widows and orphans, when you see something,
I don't know. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast here or if it was just in our conversation, but people that are west of Alt 19 are still really feeling the effects of Helene and or Milton. And it's really easy when you're not as personally affected by it to kind of forget that that's going on. So there's a lot of need out there still. So, so if you do that, that would be great.
Great. It's like three different worlds. You go west of 19, people are still hurting. You go west of US 19, so west of Alter 19. West of US 19, those people are somewhere kind of put back together because they weren't hit as hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get east of 19, and some of those people were never even affected. Didn't have a tree fall, didn't have a fence fall, didn't have anything, no flooding, anything. And so right here in Pinellas County, you can literally be living in three different worlds.
Right.
And west of Alter 19, some of those people are still living in tents or RVs on their property, trying to put it back together with little to no funding. So we're thinking and praying for them still.
Mm-hmm.
So
just want to mention too, I think it was last week or two, we had Pennsylvania Avenue, we had the open house, and we were featuring that. Well,
under contract.
Woo-hoo. Under contract. Things are moving for sure. We also have another house that we were featuring just coming on the market, and I think that one's going under contract too. So
so there is some conflicting information that's being put out, and we don't know what the thought process is behind it. But Newsweek had an article out earlier this week that a owner lost $130,000 on a house in the Tampa Bay area. Well, if you just read the headline, you go, "Oh, don't want to invest there." But if you get into it, it's not an owner, it's a international investor, Blackstone, that's potentially overpaid for a house and sold it and lost $130,000 on it. And so, yes, real estate is you can gain and lose in real estate, but when you're doing it at an international level and you don't have the right people selecting properties, negotiating properties, and securing properties for you, you can tend to overpay for things, and or get the bad renter in there and they do damage in it, and put it back together. It could cost that amount of money, so they might have had to wholesale it. So there's lots of reasons that did not get discussed in the article. So don't take things at face value, without doing the research.
Well, that's my big thing.
As I say, fake news.
But that was during the height of the market, which we're talking about, and during the pandemic, there were a lot of people looking to move to Florida. There was a lot of remote workers, and there was a lot of corporations coming in and buying up large areas, a lot of property. And we weren't always happy about that because it's kind of a false market. I think so.
Stupid money does stupid things.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was panic. There's panic money. There are literally people that came in and paid $150,000 over the list price because they heard there was multiple offers. Well, some of those offers might have been $1,000 over list or below list, but because they heard multiple offers, they just went, "I want this house, and I'm going to pay whatever I have to get it."
Yeah.
So, it's like you said, the house is priced properly, and you have it marketed properly. They're selling.
And also, you have a proper professional team. One of the other myths that was on that list of 10 myths on the internet was all realtors are the same. Well, we already know that's not true. So just you have to click with someone, and you have to kind of vet them and make sure that they are professionals.
Yeah, and doing this 90-90, I'm getting outside of my bubble. I'm pushing myself, and I'm meeting new people, new realtors, and the conversation starts with, "What do you do?" and what do you think should be done to get eyeballs on it and show the house and stuff. And it's interesting. Spent about an hour canvassing a community with a realtor, and the conversation that was going back and forth while we were putting out flyers was amazing, and enlightening for both of us, because it was an open exchange of ideas, and she admitted that the last 4 years have been fantastic, and not understanding what's going on this year, and so sharing with her 24 years of experience kind of thing, and it's just a very humbling but also insightful conversation. I had two more of them today with two houses I went into today. So it's it's the market's changing and people are trying to figure it out.
Right. Absolutely.
So
you got anything else there?
Trying to think what. Oh yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit last week. Appraisals. I brought that $80,000 appraisal story up in a meeting today with investors, and they were just blown away. And my comments was the first person blind.
That was just amazing. It was an amazing thing. Yeah.
No, it's just it really is. You send out 18 appraisers, you'll get 18 different values, but there should not be $80,000 between those values.
That's it. If we're talking and I had this conversation with a seller today because her offer that's coming in had an appraisal contingency.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it's fair enough. I mean, it is, we take pains to make sure that we have supporting evidence for the price that we come up with to list it at.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do that, then we can defend that price. And if an appraisal comes in and it's not very close, there's things that we can do. But $80,000, that's
Yep. So it's I showed one of the property that we were canvassing the other day is I asked when they bought it, what was your intent, who's your target, and she says, well, who do you think I should be targeting? It's first-time home buyers, downsize, relocation, and investors, and that. As an investor, she hadn't thought about selling to another investor, and so I ran the numbers before I came. This will cash flow, 20% down. This will cash flow, $500 a month positive cash flow, and what her analysis was of the rents versus the AVM that I pulled, and she went through the numbers. She said, "You're absolutely right. It'll rent for that kind of money," and so it's just in having those conversations with people, she goes, I'm not going to put a flyer. I'm not going to put a flyer in this house. I said, why? She goes, they got a for sale sign. I walked over to her mailbox and I said, they're moving somewhere.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's, you don't know till you, if you don't ask, you don't know.
Right.
And so, that's the, I guess, pretty much the aha that I'm getting out of the 90 and 90 is the communication, which, a lot of times people are guarded about their information, the way they do things, what they're open to. And when things kind of change or shift, people are a lot more open, and the word I'm looking for, where people, work together. Collaboration. There's a lot more collaborative. So great word. Great word.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's what I find interesting and refreshing about what's going on right now. A lot of people are collaborating. So very good.
It's the best you do. Everybody wins. Everybody wins if that happens. Mm-hmm. So, this is, we mentioned it's Super Bowl Sunday. So people will be busy on Sunday. And Friday is First Friday.
Yeah.
Tarpon Springs, First Friday. But I wanted to talk about, I don't know, have you been to Five Branches Brewery?
Is that right on?
So it used to be on the,
Train?
it was on the Sponge Docks.
Okay.
It was down by, I think it was down by the place at the end that everybody goes to.
Pelican Point?
No, Snappers. No,
No,
Snappers.
no.
Rusty Bellies. It's terrible getting old. Okay. So, Rusty Bellies. I think it was near there, but they moved to Hibiscus. They renovated and they moved to Hibiscus and Center Street, which is, right off of Alt 19.
Okay.
1 block off Alt 19 and 2 blocks from Main Street. But they have now, it's Muzzy's is in there. Do you know Muzzy's?
Oh, I know where Muzzy's is.
Yeah.
Muzzy's.
Muzzy's is on Alt 19 by the, not far from the Mears.
Yep. So Muzzy's moved, or are they opening another?
I don't know if they've moved, but I know that they are now serving food at Five Branches Brewery spot on Hibiscus.
Okay.
So they're starting to really start investing in there, and it should be a good thing to stop by. So if you're out at First Friday, or if you're just out for this weekend, explore some of those fun new places down there.
Muzzy's has been around for a long time. I haven't eaten there in years, but they've been around for a very long time. So
I know.
must be doing something right.
I know. They have great food. I haven't. Yeah. And Bloody Marys, I understand. So anyway, so
That's
if
fun.
you're out, look for us. I'll
First
be out there.
Friday.
Mhm.
First Friday. Cool. Yeah, I'm not at all excited about the Super Bowl. Seeing the Chiefs win their 13th Super Bowl in a row with the aid of all the referees that get fired after the game and don't have to count for their bad calls.
Well,
No,
A little better there, are we? No.
no, I'm not.
No, I know. I know. There's a lot of controversy about that. I'm not a huge sports fan, as we already know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's the NFL's changed so much over the last 10 years. I don't even really pay attention to it, but it's a great time to get together with family and friends and enjoy that.
you're gonna love that podcast. I'm gonna send you. There's a book called Closing Hour, or this. It's about the demise of Anheuser-Busch. Last
Right.
Call for Budweiser. I think that's the name of the book. He's interviewing a former Anheuser-Busch. And they talk about, how a lot of corporations and things have changed their approach.
Yeah,
Anyway,
one of the biggest things they did to cause the fall is in St. Louis, where they were headquartered. They used to do a tour with a free 5-minute, slam as many as you can, taste test. And they stopped doing that years ago. So when Laura and I were first married, we zipping back and forth for the Marine Corps. And he was probably 16 or 17-year-old cousin goes, "We got to go do a tour." And they had just raised the drinking age from 18 to 21. And so, we took my underage cousin to the free testing.
and they don't have it now because they moved all of their marketing and distribution to New York City.
Yeah. Well, I think they even sold to an out-of-country business.
Exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened. All right. Well, with that note,
Bum, 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 bum.
all righty.
That
I
it?
guess that's it for today.
Well,
This week's installment of What's Up for Pinellas.
What's up, Pinellas? And appreciate you being along. You have questions, we'll answer them next week if we didn't get them today. So go ahead and type those in, and we will see you next week. And if there's anything you want to talk about, pump that in there too. Thanks again, and we'll see you later.